Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you so much. D-Lynn, thank you very, very, very much. Greatly appreciated. We have a lot to talk about, and the interesting thing is, ladies and gentlemen, William Barr is doing something one would think liberals would do, or progressives would do, or people on the left. Generally, it's interesting. People, like, the American left never used to align themselves so closely with intelligence agencies, with authorities, government. It's interesting. You have Max Boot, Bill Kristol, Bernie Sanders voting for Clinton in 2016, and also voting for Clinton in 2020. Clinton is going to be nominee. That's a whole other story I'll get to for like a half an hour at the end of this live stream. But you have Democrats, liberals, progressives, everyone on the left saying, but trust the government. You have to trust the government. Except the White House. Don't trust the White House. Except Richard Grenell. Don't trust the new Director of National Intelligence. Except Mike Pompeo. Don't trust the State Department. Except William Barr. Don't trust the Justice Department. But trust the former intelligence chiefs that utilized a dossier purchased by Clinton to set up and frame Trump. Definitely trust them. And now you have this gleeful, well, you have to stay home. You have to stay home. Okay, great. So stay home if that's the law. But if you can prove in a court of law that people need to stay home, why did 5+ million people vote in Arizona, in Illinois, in Florida, and in Wisconsin? Why not? Why didn't they vote? I mean, why did the Democratic Party allow its 4 primaries to just kick Bernie Sanders to the curb? They allowed those primaries to ensure that Bernie Sanders would be kicked to the curb. The question, though, is why were the primaries okay, but working is not okay? Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, ladies and gentlemen. Most Americans work, live paycheck to paycheck, don't have that much of a savings. Most Americans need to work. And 22 million people are unemployed. Of those people, how many are Bernie Sanders statistics now? You do not want to be a statistic in one of Bernie's tweets. You don't want to be a statistic of Bernie Sanders not being able to afford this, not being able to afford that, not being able to do this, not being able to do that. Well, now you have 22 million people who are now unemployed because the Democratic Party said, well, you can vote in Florida, Arizona, and Illinois because it's democracy. It's democracy. But you cannot work because that's dangerous. That's a risk. You must engage in social distancing. Of course, if millions of people are voting, it's almost impossible to engage completely in social distancing. So how do they rectify that? If they were to go to a court of law and say, or the Supreme Court, if they were to say, well, look, this is, all the experts said this. Well, now the mortality rate is decreasing. Okay, thank God. You want the mortality rate's decreasing, the projections are decreasing or are being revised downwards. You have Andrew Cuomo, who stated on March 1st that the risk remains low, and there's no reason. The risk remains low for New York, and there's no reason for undue anxiety. So I don't understand if Democrats are speaking for the average person. Why don't you allow the average person to work with a face mask, engage in social distancing at the office the same way they engaged in social distancing at ballot box locations or at the ballots in Arizona, Illinois, Florida, and Wisconsin. Notice that there were no experts who gave their opinion about whether or not people should have voted in the Democratic primaries. But here, A.G. Barr going after... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong article. My God, these landlords. Barr threatens legal action against governors over lockdowns. Businesses need more freedom, the Attorney General says. Trump has undercut his guidance on how states should reopen. The Justice Department will consider taking legal action against governors who continue to impose stringent rules for dealing with the crisis that infringe on constitutional rights, Bill of Rights, even after the crisis subsides in their states. If you have a governor that imposes draconian rules, you have to look back, ladies and gentlemen. Just look back at the history of the country. You can look back at the history of our country and you just look at one of the most horrible moments, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Clinical study conducted between 1932 and 1972 by the United States Public Health Service. They deceived African American men, and these were poor citizens. These people were injected with diseases. Public Health Service started working on the study in 1932 in Alabama. Investigators enrolled in the study a total of 600 impoverished African American sharecroppers from Macon County, Alabama. Of these men, the men were given free. Okay, so men were told the study was going to last 6 months, but it actually lasted 40 years. None of the men were treated with penicillin even after the antibiotic was proven to be successful to treat syphilis. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the men were told that they were being treated for bad blood, a colloquialism that described various conditions. And so you have the most unethical, the most immoral, unethical, criminal, really the most criminal endeavor that the United States government engaged in, and this is The Atlantic, a generation of bad blood. New research suggests, okay, the Tuskegee study is perhaps the most enduring wound in American health science, known officially as the Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis. The 40-year experiment run by public health service officials followed 600 rural black men in Alabama with syphilis over the course of their lives, refusing to tell patients their diagnosis, refusing to treat them for debilitating disease, and actively denying some of them treatment. So, this was all done by quote-unquote experts of the time. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of society or government or what kind of experts did this country have, or does this country have today, where you should ask yourself, what role does politics have when people rest upon the notion that, well, it's science that tells you something? Well, science tells you this. Well, we have to take this course of action. Science told you this. Science told you this. CNN. This is an article a while back. This is just studies show dark chapter of medical research. The Public Health Service did research at a U.S. prison injecting inmates with, in 1944, this is different, with another disease. So now it says many people wrongly believe that the study involved injecting subjects with syphilis. According to a 2008 study led by Ralph Katz of New York University College of Dentistry, his survey found that more than 60% of both whites and blacks said they believed study subjects were injected with syphilis. Okay. I thought that... Okay, so anyway, they were not given... It was still horrendous. They were not given treatment. They were not told the disease they had, and they were not given the knowledge of what the true study was about. It was the most unethical thing possible. People lost their lives in a study when medical professionals could have saved people's lives. So what is the point? Why am I bringing this up? This is a horrendous thing the government did to the African American community, but also you rest upon, this is the Democratic Party, no concept of history, zero concept of history. You can't simply say you have to stay. You shut the entire country down to where you have 22 million people unemployed because science told you. Science didn't tell you that. Science did not tell you that. Politics told you that. Science could tell you, be safe, take precautions. If you are susceptible to disease, if you're susceptible to respiratory illness, take major precautions. Science could tell you a whole bunch of things pertaining to that type of advice. Science never said shut down entire economies. Science never said that. So you have to ask yourself, why didn't they get the input of experts pertaining to why didn't they get the input of experts pertaining to whether or not they should have had their primaries? This notion that you have to trust the word expert, even if it makes no logical sense, even if it's completely irrational. It is irrational to shut Wyoming's economy down because New York and New Jersey account for half, and God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. God bless them. But half of the people whose lives have been lost in this country, 48% as of yesterday. I did a segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. 48% as of yesterday were in 2 states. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. It's my 3rd channel. It is going to be amazing, and it's going to be everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. Or it's going to be that I'm going to play a character that you are going to love. It's the disgruntled liberal that the disgruntled, angry, maniacal, judgmental, self-righteous, left-leaning friend, family member, coworker, whatever, that judges you and tries to demean you. That'll be on Bizarro World Goodman. I have costumes and I have disguises. You'll love it. I have the Democratic Party flag coming. You'll love it. So check that out. But here, the Justice Department will consider taking legal action against governors who continue to impose stringent rules for dealing with the crisis that infringe on constitutional rights. Attorney General William Barr said. So these include stay-at-home orders and directives shutting down businesses are justified to a point, Barr said in an interview. Thursday on the Hugh Hewitt show. Eventually, though, states should move to more targeted measures, Barr said. He cited the approach laid out by President Donald Trump. We want to give businesses more freedom to operate in a way that's reasonably safe, Barr said, to the extent that governors don't impinge on either civil rights or on national commerce. Our common market that we have here. Then we'll have to address that. Listen, at a certain point, you have to remove the notion that Democrats are acting in an altruistic manner. They're not acting in an altruistic manner at this point right now. They want to tank Trump's economy before November. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. Yeah, my hair is growing out, and I got to do something eventually. I'm praying for the day I can go and get a haircut. I might, get a fade or shave the sides here, and then try to just get a little faux hawk going, or maybe even, some type of, not really a mohawk, but something along those lines. We'll see. We'll see how... Or I'll just chop the whole thing off. But you have to also understand, people need to work. They need to provide for their families. If you are a Democratic governor and you were caught off guard by all of this, what right do you have to claim that you're looking out for the welfare of people while at the same time not allowing them to provide for their families? One way the Justice Department might act against states or local officials is by joining lawsuits brought by citizens or businesses over restrictions, Barr said. He acknowledged that the state governments are at a sensitive stage, and they try to balance health and safety against pressure to reopen. How do the states, like states like Illinois, for example, Illinois has Pritzker. It's a Democratic machine. How do they justify the fact that they kept their primary open, where they had well over, around 2 million people congregate in various locations? How do they justify that? I don't understand how they justified that. I just don't get it. How do they justify that? How does the governor of Wisconsin justify not canceling the primary, while at the same time continuing to continuing to restrict businesses? How do they justify this? I don't know. I don't know how they justify this. This is why you don't want the Democratic Party machine running anything. It is a machine. It is very much a machine. It is very much a machine. Look, the science says be careful, be safe. The science says if you are susceptible to respiratory illness, be extremely cautious. The science says that you need to make sure that if you have a pre-existing condition or you have a compromised immune system, be extremely cautious and understand that your life could potentially be at risk. Science does not say that every state needs to shut down its economy, because science didn't say that Democrats needed to cancel Illinois, Florida, Arizona, and Wisconsin. This is an important point. This is an extremely important point, because you never found what the experts said. The experts would have said the same thing: shut down the entire Democratic primary. Don't allow them to vote. But then you would get Democrats saying, well, we can't do that because it's important to them. The overall economy is not important to them. In fact, tanking the overall economy could possibly be very important to them. There's going to be a certain point where they can't rest upon, well, it's for people's welfare. It's for the lives of people, because economic security equals health. If you cannot afford, how many people now won't be able to even afford medical insurance? How many people now won't be able to afford medication? How many people now won't be able to afford food? What happens if you don't have food, shelter, you can't afford rent? What happens if you're forced to be homeless? Does that help does that protect you from the current crisis? You know, you have Nancy Pelosi, you have celebrities, you have people on Twitter. They don't realize that you have 22 million people unemployed. And they're gleefully, because don't think that Democrats aren't looking at the political angle, because just today, New York Magazine was like, yeah, this is really affecting Trump country. It's like, what? 8 of the top 10 states are run by Democratic governors. You can look it up in the New York Times. So, and also, what happens, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, hello. The best moderators in all of YouTube. And I mean that. What I don't understand is what happens when if we have to do this all over again? What happens if there's a new crisis next year or 2 years from now? We're always going to have 22 million people. The entire country is going to shut down. Every state is going to shut down their economies again. Is this the framework? Is this a logical, rational, sustainable framework to utilize for every single pandemic? Who's to say that we won't have a pandemic 2 years from now or next year? They're saying, well, there's going to be another curve, another rise in the curve, or in winter. Gee, what are we going to do? I guess we got to have everything mail in so Democrats can count the ballots, just like they did in Broward County. William Barr is going, in addition to William Barr and John Durham, in addition to going after the same people who set up and framed Trump, he's now going to see if Democratic governors are being honest. You have Georgia opening up its economy, slowly but surely. I just want to, this is the thing. Me going to a restaurant, even though I can't go to a restaurant in Los Angeles because you can take out, I guess, but you can't sit down in a restaurant. Me sitting down in a restaurant in Los Angeles is not going to affect people in Illinois or New York or New Jersey. It's not going to affect any governor in any Democratic state thousands of miles away. We have 50 states. You can look at the rankings of the states in terms of how many lives lost and how many cases. Like I said, God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. I don't bring this up like this. I bring it up only because the Democratic Party let the people of New York down. Andrew Cuomo completely botched the response, and how he gets away with it because media is in the tank, completely in the tank for Democrats. Andrew Cuomo, on March 1st, stated that the risk is low. The general risk remains low for New York, and there are over 15,000 people who've lost their lives. That is 10,000 more than New Jersey. 10,000 more, and that's in New Jersey is like 3,000 to 4,000 more than most other states. And I still don't know the difference between if we find out in aggregate that the mortality rate is pretty close, which is what there are some studies where they're finding out the mortality rate is a lot lower than we thought. If we find out so you're finding a lot more people around the U.S. The projections are a lot more people. In some cases, 22 to 55 times as high as. That means the mortality rate plummets. Because most people, just like when most people have the flu, do not perish. If you have a compromised immune system, it is a serious thing. That's why you have to, it's funny, Democrats are like, they're like a sibling that gets what he or she wants, but as they're getting what they want, mom and dad said this, so I guess you can't to the other sibling, or they're always pointing to experts that agree with them in some way politically, but then the narrative they weave never leads to them questioning, I don't know, if the Wisconsin primary should be canceled because of fears pertaining to people getting infected, or the Illinois or Florida or Arizona primaries. And then you have Pelosi with, it's interesting. You have Pelosi, presiding over the House vote, wearing the mask, and it's like, this is not a badge of courage. This is something, it's just very, she has the gloves and the mask. Oh my God. It's interesting too, because they think this helps them politically. If she didn't think it helped her politically, she wouldn't be wearing the mask. But she's like, look, I'm so courageous. It's like, no, this is going to be a photo that will remind people of the hysteria of this era. Because you better believe 3 years from now, I don't know what the mortality rate will be, but it will be a lot lower. The projections are already being revised downwards. Study by USC and Los Angeles Department of Health concluded that between 2.8 and 4.6 of the adult population in Los Angeles County has antibody to the virus. That translates to between 221,000 to 442,000 adults, an estimate that is 28 to 55 times higher than the roughly 8,000 confirmed cases. But if you look at the people whose lives were lost, in comparison to the projection that you have 500,000 adults. So in Los Angeles County, you're looking at, I think something around let's see, a couple hundred people, but you have 442,000 adults. Let's just say, okay, so how many people? Okay. Los Angeles County, let's see. Okay, so 797 divided by so you're looking at a lot lower mortality rate than people thought. A lot lower. I'm not going to go. You mean I don't have all the statistics. Just in LA County alone, that's just an estimate. But you're looking at throughout the country, just like with the average flu, and just like with other studies pertaining to the pandemic under President Obama's administration, they finally come out and say, okay, look, we have this amount of people. You're talking about a city also of 10 million people. A city of 10 million people. California has 40 million people. California has 40 million people. 1,469 have lost their lives. God bless these people. But you also have the same number of people who lose their lives from traffic accidents every year. How many die in traffic accidents? In 2018, the state of California reported 3,651 motor vehicle deaths. 3,651. Okay, that's in 2018. So with COVID, it was something like 1,469. In society, you can lose your life so many different ways in society. To shut down the entire economy, it was never a choice between shutting down the entire economy and, going to packed nightclubs. It was never that choice. That was never a choice. And Democrats made it like into that choice. Jimbo! Pritzker removed 5. Yeah. Pritzker removed 5 toilets from a second mansion to avoid $330,000 in taxes. Typical Democrat. He did. Jimbo. Thank you. Thank you, Jimbo. How to get an 800 credit score LLC. Awesome content as always, HA. Enjoy your live streams. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. And let me tell you, go to this man's YouTube channel. Everyone, thank God I have a good credit score, but 800 credit score is really, really good. How to get an 800 credit score LLC. That is awesome. And thank you so much. How to get an 800 credit score LLC. Go to this man's website or channel and check it out. Thank you very much. How to get an 800 credit score LLC, especially in this day and age with, oh my God, 22 million people unemployed. 22 million people unemployed. Thank you. How to get an 800 credit score LLC. As one of the best business names I've ever heard in my life. Thank you. Thank you so very, very, very much. I mean, in this day and age, people are now, because of the economy being completely tanked, people are now saying, okay, do I pay my credit card bill or do I pay the electric bill? How many Americans now are saying, do I pay the electric bill? Or do I pay the credit card? Or do I pay the credit card bill? How to get an 800 credit score LLC. Thank you, Luke St. Martin from the HH Relocks. Luke St. Martin. Luke St. Martin. How to get an 800 credit score? I just shave the sides. You have to understand, it has been a long time since I actually let my hair grow. Long time. I used to have a haircut like Magnum PI growing up. If you look at Magnum PI, that was like my hair growing up. Then it was just like 90s, shaved sides and back. And we'll see. We'll see. Luke St. Martin, thank you. How to get an 800 credit score LLC, thank you. 110 million people oh my God, in credit card debt before the current crisis. 110. This is according to How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC. 110 million Americans in credit card debt. Basically, 1 out of 3 Americans. How are you going to pay your credit cards now? How do people pay anything? How do people pay anything now? You know? How do you pay your credit cards if you don't have the money? How do you do that? How do you do that if you don't have the income? You're relying on whatever savings you have. You're relying on whatever savings you have. So, you know, how do you, I mean, you're really just, how many people are on the verge of homelessness? There are so many Americans now on the verge of homelessness. And you don't want to be a statistic in Bernie Sanders. A Bernie Sanders tweet. You just don't want to be a statistic in a Bernie Sanders tweet. So How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC, thank you so much. Luke St. Martin, thank you so much. You know, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I look forward to when Los Angeles opens up. I look forward to when Los Angeles opens up. I look forward to when life is back to normal. I don't know what the mortality rate will be. I have no clue what the mortality rate will be. And we're very early in the pandemic, and more people in Los Angeles County could be infected. So if you have more and more and more people, the mortality rate goes down. The mortality rate goes down substantially. How are they going to reconcile? How are they going to reconcile if the mortality rate eventually is? And again, I do not know what the mortality rate is. I do not know what it will ultimately be. I mean, I've seen estimates, but I don't know what it'll ultimately be. You have to ask yourself what the mortality rate will ultimately be. So, this is interesting. This is interesting. So it's 28 to 55 times higher than the confirmed cases in Los Angeles. And how many more throughout the country? It's interesting. All the projections they made. Ha ha ha! Cowboy Derp, hello. H.A. Goodman, Chia Pets, yes. My hair looks like a Chia Pet. Already. I'm kind of like the living H.A. Goodman Chia Pet. But let's see here. Let's see here. So William Barr is going after these states to make sure that they don't, to make sure that they don't, just take liberties with people's the rights of people. Let's see what's going on. Let's switch gears to something amusing like Joe Biden. Joe Biden predicts that Trump will try and delay the 2020 election. Oh my God. Joe Biden doesn't even know when the 2020 election is. He doesn't even know what year it's in. So that's the first issue we have to deal with. Hold on, I'm gonna donate money to. I'm gonna donate all the super chat money today to Joe Biden's campaign. Hold on one second, Joe Biden. Okay, so just joking. You can. There's a $5, $10, $25, $50, $100, and there's also an area where you can just put any dollar amount you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and, oh my God, it goes all the way to past 100, 1,000, 10,000. Oh my God. Who is giving money to Joe Biden? I want to know that person. You better believe that person has the most contempt possible for Trump, which is Bizarro World Goodman. That is the Anthony Andrea. H.A., you look like Pete Davidson. What happens to Bernie's delegates? Thank you, Anthony Andrea. Thank you. I, too, though, have a Hillary Clinton tattoo. It's not in my forearm, though. I'll tell you that. Anthony Andrea, thank you. Thank you. Bernie's delegates go to Biden and then to Hillary Clinton. Bernie's delegates, Anthony, according to 538, are not bound to vote for. No delegate is bound to vote for the winner of the primary, even in the first ballot. So, now, Anthony Andrea, great question. Luke St. Martin, thank you again. How to get an 800 credit score LLC, thank you again. Anthony Andrea, great question. In every one of my description sections, ladies and gentlemen, the bottom link is a link to a 538 article talking about pledged delegates are not legally bound to even vote during the first round. There are 2 rounds, and Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. Please, God, I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. But please, Lord, have Madam Secretary become nominee sooner rather than later, because I don't know if I can stand Joe Biden as nominee till August. Please. Thank you. Anthony Andrea, they all go to Clinton in the end. They go wherever they want to. So technically they'll go to Biden. But Bernie claims he's keeping his delegates, but if he's not going to be on the ballot in New York. Because Cuomo is like, hey, there's this law. Look at the law. So he's not going to be on the ballot in New York on Monday. So, oh my God! Please just pick. If I want Biden to pick Elizabeth Warren, that would be the absolute most fantastic choice. That would be the absolute most fantastic choice. Now people are predicting. Prediction, if Biden becomes nominee, he'll step down at the Democratic convention and give the nomination to Hillary Clinton. I love it. I love it. That's why her documentary came out. That's why she's slogging along even though the decline. That's why the DNC elevates him. So there you go. I love it. I love it. Let's see. It will be like Andre the Giant arm wrestling. Jerry Nadler. Who do you think would win? If Clinton's Andre the Giant, Jerry Nadler is Biden. Who do you think would win? If Andre the Giant arm wrestled Jerry Nadler, you think the congressman would win? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not, though. Probably not. And when it happens, when Clinton becomes... Oh, my God. Hillary Clinton responds when asked if Ivanka Trump will be the first female president. That's not going to happen. We don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House. Oh, my God. Wearing the golden muumuu. Literally the golden muumuu. Hold on. Let's hear this. I have to hear this. I can't believe, Madam Secretary. This is, oh, my God, throwing the gauntlet down. Oh, my God. And you notice also, there's just no shame in leave. Imagine Madam Secretary. He said something about Chelsea, Oh my God, throwing the gauntlet down. Oh Lord God.
Trump wants to be the first female
and you notice also.
States.
Okay,
that's not going to happen.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House.
I think
The Smith, hello.
I would like to believe what you're saying, but I've also learned after these elections that things that we didn't expect.
Okay, hold on.
Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House.
I think that...
Oh, we don't? I'd vote for Ivanka Trump in a nanosecond over any Democrat. Any Democrat. I would totally vote for Ivanka Trump. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Over Joe Biden, who would promote the Max Boot, Bill Kristol foreign policy, which is the Democratic Party foreign policy, which is what Bernie wants. But Biden, whether it's real or a shtick, doesn't know what date what year the 2020 election is in. But let's listen to this again. Wow. And you mean to tell me she's not going to be nominee? I wrote about this in 2017. This will be the biggest political call of all time. And you know what? Good for her. Good for her. Here, check this out.
Woman win. Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House.
I think that normally I would like to believe what you're saying, but I've also learned after these elections that things that we didn't expect to happen sometimes do happen.
Well, that's true, but, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I think the American people have seen for themselves what happens when a reality TV candidate wins.
This will be the reason they don't win with Biden. It won't be Biden, but with Clinton. This will be the reason they don't win. They have not learned, ladies and gentlemen. They're going back with the same thing. Everyone's a deplorable. We're the experts. We're the intelligentsia. If you vote for Trump, you're immoral. That's why you have to subscribe to the Bizarro World Goodman. But this is unbelievable. My God. My God. This is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable.
Woman win.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Could you imagine this? Thank you. Deesby's Art, thank you. Can you imagine this? Check this out.
Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
No?
No.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps.
We don't want... Who's we? We don't want... No, we said no. Oh, okay. Why have the election? We already said no. I am an aficionado, a fan. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Why would I be frustrated and upset? No. Now I just find it absolutely... I find brilliance in the treachery. The hubris, the arrogance, the narcissism, the megalomaniacal manner in which not just Madam Secretary, almost all Democrats, liberals, people on the left, great many progressives, they have this belief that they're on the side of justice and they are entitled to righteous indignation, and they have the ability and they have the right to they have the right and the ability and just they're expected to condemn you. And they actually, because Madam Secretary knows exactly what's going to take place, apparently. We don't want any more inexperienced Trump people. So let's see. We don't want people to be the first. We don't want peace between North and South Korea. We don't want America's president to step foot in North Korea and begin détente, because that never happened before. We don't want an end to the conflict, longest running military conflict in Afghanistan, longest running American conflict ever. We don't want an end. Don't you understand? We don't want. The royal we. We don't want. It's like if I said, we would like people to subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we want? Check it out again. This is fantastic. The treachery is it's just brilliant.
Woman win. Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
And it's like a therapy session, because now these journalists, this is like a European journalist, or like an American working for a European journalist, and you can sense, like, sometimes we find out things sometimes things happen, like Trump winning. Oh my God, this is so great.
Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
No?
No.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House.
We had record low unemployment before this catastrophe. We had record low unemployment. President Trump was the first president to step foot in North Korea, begin détente between North and South Korea, to the point where President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. But you will never hear that on the left. You will never hear. Well, first of all, you got to look. The emotions and this maniacal, hysterical frenzy that most Democrats have, it comes from the top. Lakers' finest, yes! Hillary colluded with China. Blame them for steal the election via mail-in voting. Thank you, Lakers' finest. Lakers' finest. When the season resumes, you know who's going to win the championship. Lakers' finest. It'll be L.A. Lakers' finest. Thank you. The mail-in voting issue is I respectfully disagree with the first part of what you said, but I do agree with the second part. The mail-in issue is huge. You don't want Democrats to count the ballots. That's the one thing you don't want. You're talking about a political party that had two political operatives that were forced to resign for fomenting rallies. Listen to this again.
Woman win. Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president of the United States.
That's not going to happen.
No?
No.
How come?
No, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps in the White House.
I think that normally I would like to believe what you're...
So she's going after Ivanka. If Trump ever said anything about Chelsea, oh my God, the outrage, the moral indignation.
You're saying, but I've also learned after these elections that things that we didn't expect to happen sometimes do happen.
Things that we don't expect to happen sometimes do happen. Sometimes things happen, like Democrats losing the election to Trump. It just didn't expect it to happen, but it happened. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I think that normally I would like to believe what you're saying, but I've also learned after these elections that things that we didn't expect to happen sometimes do happen.
Like what? What happened that we didn't expect? Because I was quoted by NPR. Yeah, in 2015. I said Madam Secretary would lose swing states. Nobody listened to me. I was on the left. And they wrote hit pieces on me. Yeah. But what happened?
Well, that's true, but, fool me once, shame on you.
Oh, thank you, Socrates. Oh, my God. Sing it, Madam Secretary. Give that wisdom that has given you only happiness and glory and fame. Has helped so many people from Libya to, mass incarceration, all these wonderful things. What a great track record. Totally somebody I would vote for were it not for President Trump.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Yes.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Oh my God, Bush couldn't get that, but you did. You're the best.
And I think the American people have seen...
All of the American people. Florida Man Bear! Florida Man Bear! Yeah! Thank you, Florida Man Bear. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Florida Man Bear. Thank you. Florida Man Bear, the American people. The American people. The American people have been fooled once. But fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. What? No. Shame on you. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No. What? How does she do it? This is only the wisdom of Madam Secretary. Oh my goodness, my wife is a scholar. A gentlewoman and a scholar.
But fool me once, shame on you.
Yes.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
And you wouldn't want shame on you. Me. Us.
And I think the American people have seen for themselves what happens when a reality TV candidate wins.
I mean, he's a reality TV candidate. What has he accomplished except, things that President Obama couldn't accomplish? Whatever. If you think, ladies and gentlemen, that this person ain't gonna take it from Biden, do you understand? It would be like Dikembe Mutombo right in front of the basket, and Eric Swalwell trying to score with a layup. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? It would be like Eric Swalwell and Larry Bird in a 3-point, or Steph Curry in a 3-point shooting contest. Who do you think would win? It won't. Here's a hint. It won't be Swalwell. And in this analogy, Clinton is Bird, and Swalwell is himself. Anyway, let's listen to this again. This is the best I've ever heard. Yes, don't you understand? Listening to Madam Secretary is like watching Poltergeist or The Exorcist. You don't want to watch, but you do. And it's so fantastic because her ambition is tied to my political voice. Or I should say my political voice is tied to her ambition, which is fantastic. I mean, that's fantastic. So God bless her. And I tell you, if anyone who's not an imbecile at the Clinton camp is listening right now, because you would have to not be an imbecile to actually maybe take some of my advice, whatever. You should find a way very soon to just, find one skeleton in the closet of the former vice president. There you go. And then it's all, we need Clinton. That's it. And then before the convention, it's, oh my God, here she is, the second time in a row, Madam Secretary. It's going to be fantastic. It would be fantastic. Because you want to get people used to the notion. You don't want to just wait and, take it and cheat at the convention. You want to cheat before the convention to give people plausible deniability. Or plausible deniability. Well, who would have ever predicted this? Who would have ever predicted that Clinton would be nominee? Only Trumpers predict that. Actually, only one person who is a Trump supporter. Me. Okay, let's see here. Florida Man Bear, thank you. Ramon Cepeda, hello. Let's see. Let's do this again.
Win. Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be the first female president.
Don't you love the softball questioning? Apparently, Ivanka Trump wants to be president. You tried to be president, and you were cheated by Russia. Now she wants to be president. Okay? Can you believe this? I mean, how do you feel about this? Hillary, how do you feel about this? Ivanka wants to be president, but you were almost president. I'm with you on this. I'm just asking because I just want to hear what you really think.
The United States.
That's not going to happen.
Oh my God, that was scary.
No?
No.
Oh my God, the resolve. You got to see this, dude. The steely-eyed resolve. Fantastic. It's like, this is like an episode in Battlestar Galactica where there's like Star Trek, or like the villain's like, that's not going to happen. You won't escape this galaxy.
How come?
Well, we don't want any more inexperienced Trumps.
Inexperienced Trumps? Like it's a civilization or something. We don't want any more inexperienced Trumps. Okay. Oh my God.
In the White House.
I think that normally I would like to believe what you're saying, but I've also learned after these elections that things that we didn't expect to happen sometimes do happen.
Sometimes they happen. Sometimes people lose the Electoral College because of Russia. Sometimes these things happen. Because of Russian intelligence.
Well, that's true, but, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Ah, not since Socrates. Not since Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle have we witnessed, and Confucius and Sun Tzu, have we witnessed such eloquence and thought, such profound philosophical diatribes.
And I think the American people have seen...
All of the people, not one person disagrees. All of the people.
For themselves, what happens when a reality TV candidate...
It's just a reality show TV candidate.
wins. And a woman wins.
Oh my God. I'm going to do a segment right now on H.A. Goodman's other channel regarding this. Do you think... Thank you, 4.9 Cop Blank, thank you. Do you think, oh, I don't know, this type of person is, oh, I don't know, perhaps capable of running again? You think so? You think maybe this type of individual would be running again? And I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Please, I need my supplies from Amazon. My mustache, my hats. I went all out. My wigs, my sunglasses. They're actually silver. They're awesome. I'm going to be the coolest, most amazing liberal you've ever seen in your life. I might even wear a mask. My first, my first with the wig and the beard. There's so many things I could do. It's going to be fantastic. Bizarro World Goodman. Bizarro World Goodman. This is already... People have said, this is already Bizarro World. Everything you do already is Bizarro World. But this is going to be even more so. Because I will have utter contempt for the Orange Menace Trump. Yelling at the top of my lungs. It'll be fantastic. It'll be like Hillary Clinton would be a step down from me. Do you understand? Hillary Clinton would be a rational, sober voice. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, give me, I'm looking, Cirilio H.A., yes, actually that's a great name, Cirilio, yes, Hidden for Time, basically it'll be surreal, it'll be like, if Salvador Dali had brain damage and couldn't paint, that'll be like my YouTube channel, the new one. Bizarro World Goodman, everybody. You got to subscribe. You know the deal. You know the deal. All right, everybody. God bless. I will have a segment up in about 15 minutes on H.A. Goodman's other channel. We're almost at 15,000 subs officially on that channel. People, thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. I can't tell you how much it means to me. It really, really does mean a lot to me. God bless you all. To the people in New York and New Jersey, God bless you. When I bring up what's taking place in New York and New Jersey, I'm talking about the Democratic Party. I want people safe. I have family in the East Coast. And I've only met the most amazing, wonderful people from New York and New Jersey. And I have a lot of, just great times in New York and New Jersey. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. Everyone, God bless you. Stay safe. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thank you.